In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. But then the earth was formless and void, and darkness was over the face of the deep. Genesis 1:2, a verse many read without question. But hidden between the lines is a mystery. Why would a perfect creation be described as broken before humanity ever appears? What happened between in the beginning and the arrival of Adam? Ancient scholars, forbidden texts, and early church fathers all hint at a forgotten chapter. A time before Adam, a time of kings, a time of empires, a time of war. And what followed wasn't creation, it was recreation. Let's start with the gap. It's called the gap theory, the idea that a vast stretch of time exists between Genesis 1:1 and Genesis 1:2. In the beginning, God created, but something catastrophic occurred. And what follows is restoration, not creation from scratch. Supporters of this view point to the sudden introduction of darkness, a condition God is never said to create, only to dispel the Hebrew word tohu va-bohu, translated as formless and void, which elsewhere in the Bible always describes ruin after judgment, not raw materials, prophets like Jeremiah and Isaiah, who use nearly identical language when speaking of lands devastated by divine wrath. In other words, something ruled earth, something rebelled, and something was wiped clean. Who ruled before Adam? Ancient texts hint at kings and civilizations predating human memory. The Book of Jasher, apocryphal writings, and early rabbinical traditions speak of pre-Adamic civilizations, earthly kingdoms under celestial influence, beings who may have been early creations, not fully angel, not fully man. And when rebellion erupted, possibly the same rebellion that cast down Lucifer, the world was plunged into darkness and chaos. The flood of Noah wasn't the first judgment, it was the second. Evidence? Consider this. Ancient megalithic structures across the globe, precision-cut stone cities we couldn't replicate today. Dating back to eras long before Adam's timeline, global flood myths that seem to remember not just one, but multiple resets. Legends of golden ages, titan wars, and sky battles that exist in nearly every culture. What if these aren't myths? What if they're fractured memories of a world that once thrived under kings who ruled before humanity began? A world erased, buried beneath layers of sediment, myth, and deliberate silence. And what about Lucifer? The Bible hints that before his fall he was the anointed cherub who covered. You were on the holy mountain of God. You walked among the fiery stones. Ezekiel 28. But after pride corrupted him, after rebellion brewed, judgment came. Isaiah 14 speaks of, "How you have fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning." What if Lucifer's rebellion wasn't limited to heaven? What if it spilled onto earth, infecting the pre-Adamic civilizations, leading them into ruin and triggering a cosmic reset? And in the aftermath, a new world began. Ours. Adam wasn't created from chaos. Adam was created to reclaim a world lost to chaos. And humanity's struggle ever since? It isn't just survival, it's a silent war, a spiritual inheritance, battling unseen forces tied to a kingdom that once was, and to rulers who still seek to restore their lost dominion. The garden wasn't the start, it was the restart, and hidden beneath Genesis is the memory of a world before us, one we were never meant to remember. Until now. End of biblical hidden history arc, but the ancient war for Earth, still raging.